Hello, my name is Glenn Rhodes, and masks protect us against COVID-19, and rooftop solar panels protect us from rising electric rates. So, I also work for Trinity Solar. I live here in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, but I also work in Rhode Island, in Massachusetts, and Connecticut to sell solar systems with integrity and also install. So my system here was installed by Trinity, my Trinity team out of Wareham, Massachusetts, last year at the end, towards the end of December of 2019. So I've got my permission to operate, PTO we call it, from National Grid, the utility out here, back in January 15th. Let me take this mask off since we're socially distanced, and I'll kind of point out my system to you. So this is my south-facing roof. It's on my garage. I have 12 of Hanwha's 315 watts per panel panels. So this is my most productive of my array. I have a second array on my west-facing roof back here, which has 20 panels. So 20 plus 12 is going to be 32, and that means my system size times 315 is 10.08 kW. We call that the system size. But it's producing more because my south-facing roof right here is overproducing, right? So you want to load up any south-facing roofs because that means you're going to get more electricity with less panels. So I decided to go ahead and understand more about solar systems when I went to work for Trinity back in 2018. At the time, I had been a energy auditor down, working in Houston, Texas on fossil fuel clients in the energy field. And with rates so much up here in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, we pay 25 cents per kilowatt hour, which is almost twice what the rest of the country pays. And our rates have been increasing 4 to 5% each year, which is wicked inflation. So you can get away from that if you do a solar system, right? So a solar system, it's not going to cost you any money up front, and it's going to result in a lower cost for electricity. You see, we know out here in Rhode Island, and so does our governor, Gina Raimondo, that we're paying too much for electricity, okay? And so all we want to do as an installer is basically charge you less for electricity, but create a series of cash flows into the future so that we stay into business and remain a going concern. All right, so now we're over by my net meter. You see, when you go solar, after you're installed, National Grid will roll the truck out and they'll swap out the meter that you have, which is most likely a variable spinning meter. Every time it spins, that's 1 kilowatt hour, 2, 3, that's how they charge you. And they'll put in a smart digital meter, which is a net meter. You see, this can either go forwards, count forwards and charge you, or count backwards and give you credits. You see, in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, the state allows you to get your annual 12-month load from solar panels, okay? And National Grid doesn't, they enforce that. They don't let you get much more. Why is that? Well, it's because the transformer in the neighborhood can only handle so much solar energy, and that can act as a constraint. Not everybody can get in if one person is taking all the space. So the Rhode Island, the government wants to give everyone a fair chance into the inverter, into the transformer. So this is my digital net meter from National Grid, and then this is a kill switch right here. So anybody in my family or a fire department could come out and they could flip these down to the down and off position, and the system would automatically go off. Okay, let's go take a look at the inverter. So we're over by the inverter. I have a Solar Edge inverter. This is the antenna that transmits all the data on the production of the roof. So you can track that using multiple tools, which I'll talk about later. So here, my Solar Edge inverter is matched up with every panel I've got, the 12 out there and the 20 up on the main roof. Each have an optimizer so that this the inverter can detect if one of them is off. Okay, so we right here have a Solar Edge inverter. The other manufacturer that I install is from Enphase, and that is a micro inverter. So every panel up there will actually have just one inverter. There will not be an outside device like this. There's pros and cons of each one, which you can read about online. I prefer Solar Edge if you know what your system is going to be, but if you are maybe going to add on it over time and build it as you maybe get more things that drive load like electric cars, you might want to go with micro inverters because it's easier to expand them in the future. Okay, so this is from Trinity, my inverter. Okay, again, this is Glenn, and now I want to show you how my billing works, how your billing will work with your utility. So my utility is National Grid, and so this is going to be an example. Essentially what happens is net metering changes your bill into a statement of your credits and how you either use or build those over time. So to do this, let's review my system again. And so my system down here was installed at the end of December 2019. Trinity does not outsource this. We have our own employees. We have a lot of installers that come from Wareham, and that's where they're managed. I tell everybody to actually look at and Google Trinity Solar in Wareham. If you add Wareham, it'll point you right to our Google reviews, and you'll find we have more than 215 that have installed in this area, consumers that is, and we have a 4.7 star rating. The reason I think the star rating is high for us in this area, New England, is because we work very closely with National Grid. You can't get anything done without working closely with National Grid. Actually, National Grid, when compared to other utilities across the US, is very progressive because they're headquartered in the UK and they've seen renewables and they do it right. And they're behind it. They're behind Gina's plan to get 100% renewable energy from the state of Rhode Island by the year 2030. That's a big statement and a positive statement. So National Grid is a good utility. And the second thing I did is I installed this device, which I got separately off of Amazon, very good reviews. This is the Sense Energy Monitor. This is a group out of Cambridge in Boston, Massachusetts, who is using smart internet technology to monitor your load if you plug this into your panel downstairs, but also these clamps can read your solar production. So across my first month, when I got it January 1st, I got my permission to operate. I was turned on, allowed to permission to operate it on the 15th, middle of the month. You see my solar bars come in, and at the end of the month, I have more solar production than I do usage, so I should be net zero when you get to my bill. After we run this, we'll put a solar permit on your front door. The town inspector will come by and give the thumbs up, then the town inspector will give National Grid the thumbs up to roll that truck out and change out the meter the way I told you. Okay, so I got my first solar bill. Hooray! It says Glen Road Solar, and you look down and there's no bar. That means you're getting everything from the roof, and you can flip it to page 2 and see that National Grid puts a zero value there that takes all those charges to zero. But more importantly, they then monetize your credits. So 167, negative 167 rolls down into my delivery section times 19 cents, gives me that 31 credit value, which wipes away all my charges. I don't owe National Grid anything, which is a beautiful thing. So this has just been continuing. There's my next bill for February to March, getting more credits, not having to pay National Grid until July. Now in July we ran as a family RECs more, and so National Grid tries to charge us a little bit more, but the credits stay with you, they don't expire, just wipes away those charges so you don't end up having to pay anything to National Grid. So it's a beautiful thing the way that works. So solar right now is very exciting, not only because it can get you away from your increasing utility bill, but also because there is some very exciting coming with energy storage in the form of battery technology. So I am selling the Tesla Powerwall here and also getting trained on the Generac PRW cell. So the PRW cell is going to be a whole house generator that runs off of gas combined with a solar energy battery, so it can bank some of that energy from your roof and can keep your house going even when we're in an outage and the grid's down. So that's enough for today. If you guys have any questions, you can find me at Go Green with Glenn. Again, that's www.gogreenwithglenn.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much.